In this video, I'm going to cover tips for sub 130 on Megaminx. In the previous video, I mentioned for star the idea of 221. Well, continuing on that, by now you should be able to get at least 4 pieces of the star in your inspection. So like the first two twos, and then if you can get the last piece, that's good. Then you have the full star. But if you can't, that's okay too. You should still know where it is. You should still know where it is though, because if you don't, then you're just gonna waste time during the beginning of your solve. So going with that, I'm just going to go do an example cross. So here, first thing I notice is yellow. Now I'm going to, using 2, I'm going to look at purple or blue. I see a lot of the other star pieces here. So blue, green, red, purple. Here I'll also see that red and green are very close to each other. So yellow is going to be in my first set of 2, and then red and green are probably going to be my second. Just thinking a little bit more. Okay, so if you look at the Megaminx from this angle, this purple just slides in very quickly, like this. And, well, I'm also going to go do this for a pair, but that's unrelated. So for this first piece, I'm just going to do it like an F2. And then I'm going to insert this, preserve the pair. So these are my first 2. Now I'll do the next 2, which is red and green. And then to get this 1x2 preserved, I'm gonna go do a U2, insert the green first, insert the green first, then I'll insert the red, so I keep this corner, and then blue is back here, insert it. For F12, you want to start recognizing pairs when the pieces aren't in the same layer. You've probably done this already for some very, very basic cases like this green and purple, which is 1 move away from a 3-move insert. But at this point, you just want to add more to the other types of F12 cases. So for some examples here, if you see here, we have a blue-red corner and a blue-red edge. We can bring this up to put them in the same layer and then do this F12 case with a U2 prime. But there's a much more efficient way to do this, which is bringing the edge around first, and then once you bring this up, you just have the pair formed. So you just want to replace stuff like this with this, which is much faster. Here is another example of making your F12 pairs more efficient. So here I have, this is like this target layer. Here I have the red-green corner, red-green edge. I can bring these up and I get this case, which is pretty good. It's like that. But if it's ready here, for the execution of this alg involves pushing this up and then doing a U2 prime. So if it's ready here, I can cancel into it and do just a U2 prime and then have the pair already formed with a lot less moves. In general, all the efficiency stuff I'm talking about can be figured out by just like breaking down your F2L algs and seeing how the pair is formed. Basically, just kind of like going over intuitive F2L. A good way to practice this is by doing untimed solves. In particular, untimed, not slow. You want to do untimed because in untimed you won't really worry about your speed at all, and with slow makes you kind of think about your look ahead, but that doesn't really matter for making your pairs more efficient. You just want untimed, and you just want to go through each pair individually and don't worry about the look ahead for now. For S2L, you just want to continue doing solves to improve your recognition of S2L pieces. So here, well, for recognizing like these red edges, since I do red first, it's pretty easy to know that these are going to be the edges I insert, but if I'm not as experienced, I might not know that I'll need this during my red part. And so what you want to do now is just do more solves so you really get used to associating this with the red layer, even though it doesn't have a red sticker. Same with this piece because it's part of this pair. And that comes with just doing a lot of time solves. Another thing that you can do is sort of work on the pair efficiency that I mentioned in the F12 section. That can be done through untimed solves again, not slow, untimed. And for that, you just you can just do that in the same solves that you do your untimed F2L improvement. So that way you'll be able to do two things at once. Here I have the last three faces of S2L. At this point I do purple, so I have the edge here, so I'm just gonna do an F2. And I see these two. This I can bring these up into the I can bring this up and it'll form a 3-move insert, which is good. One thing I want to stress is that from going to sub 2 to sub 130, you should be able to kind of like recognize the one move into 3-move insert cases, so that when you have something like this, you can do this as like one step instead of doing it as 2 steps, where you first bring up the piece and then recognize the 3-move insert, then insert. You want to do that in one motion. Another thing for S2L that I wanted to mention is that sometimes you'll see that for your last two faces, this orange-green pair is a lot better than this green-blue pair. And for those cases, in general, you just want to like start practicing inserting this pair first, and then before inserting this pair. This pair still comes like last or second. So your orders are like this first, and then these two in any order, or this to this to this. So this especially comes in handy if you happen to have an orange-green pair at the start. You don't want to give easy. You don't want to give easy stuff like that up just because you're supposed to be doing blue first. So in this case, blue-green is pretty bad, but orange-green is all in the top layer. This isn't the best example, but it'll work for now. So I'm just gonna form this pair like that. Then I'll push this down so it forms a block here. Then blue, and then I just have a regular slot. For last layer OLO, you just want to start looking into some of the 3x3 OLOs I'll transfer over here. Some of them are pretty easy to recognize, like this. It's pretty like this is just like the free rough case, and then something like this, just RUR prime U prime then sledgehammer. There are easy cases like that to transfer over from 3x3, and you should go look at some OLO websites online to see which ones transfer and like super easy to learn. Another one is this, which goes like that. There aren't many changes to make for EP from sub 2 to sub 130. If you want to, you can replace some of the EP algs from Antoine's video with some of the 3x3 transfer. There's some of the 3x3 PLOs that I mentioned in the sub 2 video, but aside from that, you don't really have to do anything. For CO and CP though, I think at this point you want to start branching away from using the commutator and start actually learning the CO and CP algs. I know some fast people still use the commutator, but at this point I switched over kind of like halfway because I'm not very good at the commutator, and you don't have to go too hard on this. You can just like learn the easier cases for now. Like this is pretty clearly a soon, and this is like a double soon. There are easy cases like that which take like a minute or two to learn. There aren't really any for CP, but the 3+3, the 3 cycles and the 2+2 swaps don't take a lot of time to learn. The 5 corner cases are a bit harder. That'll be for later. You just want to gradually learn those as you go from 2 to 130, and then by 1 you should be able to have like full CO and full CP.